Hello, my name's David. I'm an environment artist. Today I thought I'd just hop back into Star Wars Outlaws. Let's have a little mooch from here where we are in the Trailblazer, parked at Jaunter's Hope on Toshara, and thought I'd have a little drive into Mirogana City because I think it's epic. I think it's really, really cool sort of vista, and it just it's really Star Warsy, you know. It epitomizes a lot of Star Wars in my mind. So just have a little wander through, head into the old storage bay. Lovely view out the back here, isn't it? Check that out. I do like the geology of Toshara. Yeah, it's really nice. This kind of weird crystalline red stuff threading through the sort of rest of the rock, hinting at some weird past in this planet's geology, doesn't it? Really cool. Nice waterfalls there. Lovely view. Let's get on our speeder. I do wish that we could, you know, upgrade the speeder to like different models of speeder. You know, I want the classic Star Wars speeder, not this beat up old crappy motorbike thing, which is what it reminds me of. That's one of my biggest criticisms, actually. I just want a blooming proper Imperial version speeder bike, you know, from Return of the Jedi. Why not? But anyway, we're stuck with this one, so watch out, beast. Steady on. My word. So we're gonna head out of here along the roads here, and I think Mirogana City is heading off this way. I mean, don't they look cool? I love this little town settlement things. I mean, I don't know why people criticize this game so much. I mean, it's like it nails the Star Wars vibe, you know, for the time it's set in the Star Wars universe. It's a great alternative view of the Star Wars world, in my mind. You know, there's no Jedi or anything like that running around. It's more of the sort of underworld, gritty side of Star Wars. And the missions are fun, entertaining. You know, the story's pretty good. I just don't understand the criticism leveled at it, to be honest. I've yet to hear a coherent critique of this game, to be quite honest. And yeah, no game's perfect, is it? But I mean, it hits so many nails on the head as far as Star Wars is concerned in my mind that, yeah. And it's fun. I mean, just check this out. This speeding along the roads into this sort of city that's lying under that mountain. I mean, isn't that cool? I mean, it's wide open. Look at that. There's a city underneath that blooming mountain. And we can go in and wander around all of it. You know, now, to me, if you're moaning about that, you might as well just moan about life, because you'll never be happy. You know, I mean, it's really well done. It's really well situated. It's well observed. You know, it's just the construction of it just fits in with the universe it's trying to portray so well. You know, this mix of high technology and low technology mixed in, you know, which is classic Star Wars, isn't it? I mean, what more are you wanting, frankly? You know? I think it's great. You know, this city is probably my favourite one. I mean, I like Akiva as well, which is pretty cool. And, oh, what's the other one? The jungly one. I can't remember now. But this is probably my favourite one, though. You know, it just sits beneath this massive sort of rock with that weird geology that's threading through it. They're taking advantage of the geology of this landscape, you know, as they would have done. Early settlers would have found these sorts of places to be very, you know, attractive as sort of living spaces and, you know, protective spaces from the elements. You know, these massive overhangs. And look at that there. Look at that massive band of strata that goes across the landscape. You know, sometime in the deep geological past, you know, it's almost like hinted at some massive erosive force at that point in history. You know, like probably by the looks of it, you know, tens of thousands of years of some kind of cataclysm washing out that whole strata, and then it gets back to normal deposition after that, above that band. I mean, you know, it's weird stuff, and I'd love to pick the brains of, you know, whoever designed this planet, whoever came up with the concept for this, because it's so interesting. It's fascinating in terms of a landscape in its own right. You know, and you've got this massive rock roof, and there's all sorts of stuff, gambling parlors, and you know, there's a lot of interesting little alleyways and stuff. I think at the moment I'm on a mission where I've got to hang around here and I've got to listen out for some clues as to who's cheating at these BRAVIA tables with the races and stuff. And there they are. So let's take a little look down here. What's going on down this little alleyway? Nothing down here. Last time I came down here, there was some stormtroopers hassling some people, and they were quite keen that I leave. Yeah. So I've been playing this quite a lot on the Switch too, and it's brilliant that I can just play around on the Switch too, and very quickly update my save up to the cloud. And then pop onto the computer here, download that save in a jiffy, and you know, I picked up right where I left off. It's great. That I love that aspect. You know, crossplay is brilliant when you can do that. And I can, you know, I was on the train not that long ago, and I took the Switch too. I had about 4 hours on a train playing this, and then I come back home. Boop, no progress lost or anything. It's great. So yeah, down there we've got a ladder. We've got all sorts of different little sort of hidden back areas. Should we jump over there? Over there. I think that this will get us into some shady back street sort of Sabak parlor, I think. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, we could play a bit of Sabak, which, you know, again, a really good coherent mini game within the main game. You know, comparable in quality to Gwent, and you know, games like that. I think it's really good that, you know, they've incorporated that and done it well. You know, yeah, I'll say it again. You know, I don't understand the criticisms. You know, it's almost like a lot of people, you know, they see Ubisoft and they just prejudge it, and then, you know, they trash it, and then other people watch them trashing it who've probably never played it. And so, you know, come on, people, like, give games a chance. You know, I think it would be really interesting to go a whole year where no one knows who has made what game. You know, no one knows. Well, let's, you know, judge the game without knowing who the publisher or the developer was. And, you know, wouldn't that be interesting to see what games surface to the top without preconceived ideas? You know? Yeah. I think it's a shame. I think it's a shame. You know, people, I think having a broad, open mind is a great quality. You know? Some of my favorite people are those with broad, open minds, open to new ideas, and they're not bound by preconceptions. You know, it's a great quality in a human being, that, to me. There we go. Look at that. Look at that for a nice view, isn't it? It's really cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it speaks for itself, doesn't it? You know, it really does. So that's the main landing platform. I mean, check it out there. We've got all these interesting buildings. And then that crazy stuff up there. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, a distant shuttle over there. I mean, you know, that's like it's a Star Wars concept art shot, isn't it? That and to get that in an interactive form, I mean, to me, it's brilliant. I love that. This is what I've always wanted ever since seeing the first Star Wars films. I mean, you could probably guess that I'm not a fan of episodes 1, 2, 3. I think they're really poor. And episodes 6, 7, and 8 are some of the worst films I've ever seen. I think they're just really bad. I think they're awful. And I think they made a right mess of the Star Wars universe, frankly. They're just half-baked ideas that make no sense. Just caricature baddies. Just a lot of old rubbish, I thought. And to be honest, in my mind, they don't exist. It's episodes 4, 5, and 6. And Andor Rogue One was pretty good. And yeah, the 2 seasons of Andor, I think that was Star Wars returning to form. Let's call a trailblazer. Come on. Yeah, Andor was Star Wars coming back. And I thought they did a really good job of that. The setup into episode 4 it was a really good one. And yeah, I was so relieved actually some decent Star Wars content coming out for once. And, you know, I count this among that, you know, of sort of dwindling quality Star Wars content. Yeah. And, oh, we've got these other little mini games as well. Just kind of like, they hark back to the 80s arcade games of Star Wars, where you would do the Death Star trench run. And I remember we had a family holiday to Las Vegas. And there was a machine that had, oh, it looked great at the time. I loved it. And it had the trench run. And I don't know what version it was, but I mean, it looked really cool to my young eyes. And I spent quite a few quarters on that game. Yeah, it was great. It was really good fun. Ooh, what's this here? We've got a barrier. Can we go through this barrier? Oof, we cannot. Never mind, Nix. Let's not bother with that one. Oh, there we go. Nice little poster of what look like those waterfalls that we started with, isn't it? Now, if you take a peek in there, there's Lando Calrissian awaiting us on a mission. But we'll not go in there. But look, right, I would be happy with one of these speeders. Like, come on. I don't understand why we can't use one of those speeders instead of our beat up on motorbike thing over there. I mean, to me, is that not something that, you know, you would want to zoom around on? I mean, you can't even get on them. Like, you know, at least I could maybe pinch one. But yeah, I just thought that was a real, like, an odd missed opportunity. Because, you know, going into an open world Star Wars game with a speeder bike that you can park in the back of your spaceship. I don't know about you, but I'm thinking of that sort of speeder bike, you know, or, you know, the classic Imperial ones from Return of the Jedi. Why would you not have that? Or the ability to drive different ones? You know, I mean, come on, Ubisoft, it's just swapping in a different model, isn't it really? And maybe a little bit of tweaked animation. Not a big deal. I mean, to be honest, if it was a DLC, I would buy it. I'd buy it to get that. But no, I don't know why. Weird choice. But, you know, humans are weird, aren't they? We're all a bit weird, and we all make weird decisions. And when you get a few humans together, we start making crazy decisions, don't we? Quite often, frankly. So, yeah, you know, there you go. But yeah, I just like wandering around these outskirts. I love the design aesthetic of Star Wars. You know, I think that's what I like most about Star Wars. You know, I mean, let's face it, the plot is, you know, it's just the classic sort of hero's journey. Nothing remarkable or unusual about it, other than that it is a kind of timeless, classic archetypal storyline, isn't it? You know, I mean, and it's classic archetypal for a good reason, isn't it? The hero's journey. And it'll never go out of fashion, you know, which is fine, you know, it's fine. But I just love the visual look. You know, that mix of, you know, high tech and low tech, as I said before. And how they mix together and how they're used together. And, you know, there's history in it, isn't there? You know, look at the wear and tear on it. You know, and there's like a lot of it that's just in disrepair as well. I mean, wandering around Mos Eisley on Tatooine is really good for this sort of stuff. Looking at all the old trash and, you know, the stories that they're telling us through this. This is looks like a little workbench, doesn't it? Yeah, look at that little working screen there. And all the, you know, I mean, what does this do? That's like some sort of refueling thing, isn't it? I suppose, or maybe it's just. Well, you don't see many tires, do you, in Star Wars? It's mostly hovering stuff. So I was going to say it's not air pressure, is it? But yeah, probably fuel of some kind, whatever they run on. But you know, all this stuff. I mean, let's check out the crystalline stuff down here. You know, now we're kind of outside of the sort of, you know, the protective cover of this massive cool rock thing, and then we've got like, you know, outlying little sort of you know, sprawl, as it were, And that bridge over there. But yeah, check it out. It's this really interesting sort of material here. You know, it's like it's glassy, almost like obsidian, but you know, you can tell look at the strata in it. And it's, speaking of wind sculpture, isn't it, that? Very much. You know, so what's in the past of Toshara? You know, is it massive hydrological erosion, or is it like hugely powerful wind erosion as well? You know, because all this fluting, you know, that's classic wind, isn't it? So, you know, there's a really interesting story on this planet that, yeah, I find it fun to speculate on what it is. You know, let's just call our little motorbike, just bring him up there. Yes, hello. He's slightly keen sometimes. He kind of bumps into you. But another one. I want to get on this one. Let me get on this one. I mean, look at that. That's just like an Earth motorbike, isn't it, without the wheels? I mean, you know, even down to the classic back seat sort of thing. It's just, yeah, you know, I mean, whereas that's your proper speeder bike. Can't use it, can I? Can't use any of them. Really frustrating. You know, if you want to level that criticism of the game, then go ahead and I'm with you. Great, lovely. I wanna just zoom out and back in again because I could do this all day. Nix is happy there, isn't he, on his little cushion? But I just love zooming across this here. Whee! This is great. There was a sequence in the TV series of Ahsoka, and it had Sabine. I can't remember what planet it was, but Sabine, and that's from Star Wars Rebels, isn't it? But you know, live action in Ahsoka TV series, which I thought was alright. And she was zooming along to the city on a speeder bike, and the city was in the distance like this, and she was just zooming along, and it's just that. You know, it really brings that to mind, and I think it's just such a great look there, having the city there. I mean, I think that's one of the great things in gaming to me, that it's so good. It's so good. So I think we'll bring that infusing to a close. I welcome all critiques of the game that are rational, and you know, yeah, let me know what you think about it. I'm interested. You know, why don't you like it? I'm interested. And why do you like it? You know, do you agree with me on it? You know, I'm kind of quite pleased Digital Foundry agree with me on this. You know, it's yeah, you know, John is a big fan of this game, just like I am, and for many of the same reasons. So I'm with you there, John. I love Digital Foundry. They're awesome, aren't they? They're so good. They know their stuff. I wish I knew a tenth of what they know about gaming tech. You know, I'm just an artist. What do I know? You know, I don't know anything about tech stuff. I know what I need to know. But those guys, they really know. You know, I mean, Alex just has a deep knowledge of the tech. And, you know, Rich is just... you know, he's been around forever, hasn't he? And yeah, again, a deep knowledge of the subject at hand. So yeah, great guys, and I really like their stuff. And if you haven't, you know, if you don't know Digital Foundry, check it out. They're really good. Very, very good source of information about gaming tech. So with that, I'll leave it there. I've enjoyed it, and I continue enjoying it on the Switch 2 and on the PC, back and forward. And just having lovely little wanders around and having a game of Sabacc, and you know, yeah, great fun. So thank you, Bess. Thank you, Nix, and thank you for watching as well. It's great to have you on board. Yeah, it's cool. So I'll see you in another video. Take it easy until then. Bye.